Did you know? The world's first webcam was set up in 1991 at the University of Cambridge. Its sole purpose was to monitor the coffee pot in the Trojan room, letting researchers know if it was empty without having to leave their desks. Western Cuba, especially the Vinales Valley, features stunning limestone hills called mogotets, rising sharply from flat plains. These dramatic formations are remnants of an ancient eroded plateau, making the landscape look like something out of a fantasy movie. The unsettling video in the American version of The Ring contains subliminal frames, tiny flashes of disturbing imagery meant to freak viewers out. Director Gore Verbinski added these subtle horrors for extra psychological impact. If you measure from base to peak, Hawaii's Mauna Kea is actually taller than Everest, with over 6,000 meters hidden underwater. Its summit rises 4,217 meters above sea level, making it Earth's tallest mountain from its oceanic base. Windshield wipers were invented by a woman named Mary Anderson back in 1903. She patented her hand-operated device after seeing how much streetcar drivers struggled with bad weather. You can actually make a compass with a needle, a magnet rubbing it on hair or cloth works, and a leaf floating in a puddle of water. The magnetized needle will align itself with the Earth's magnetic field. There's a mountain in Victoria, Australia, famously named Mount Disappointment. Explorers Hamilton Hume and William Hobble gave it this rather sad name in 1824 when their path was blocked. Snow is actually an amazing insulator, which is why igloos can be over 100 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than outside temperatures. The trapped air within the snow blocks prevents heat from escaping. The very first banner ad on the internet appeared on hotwire.com in 1994 for AT&T. It famously asked, "Have you ever clicked your mouse right here? You will marking the birth of digital advertising as we know it." You can totally start a fire with just a soda can and a chocolate bar, using the polished can bottom as a parabolic mirror. Just rub the chocolate on the can to create a high-shine surface and focus the sun's rays. The Blair Witch Project's directors intentionally disoriented their actors, giving them minimal food and sleep to elicit genuine fear and frustration. This method made their reactions incredibly authentic throughout the 8-day shoot. While we take in-flight Wi-Fi for granted now, the very first commercial airplane to offer passengers internet access was a Lufthansa flight in 2004. They used a service called Connection by Boeing, which was revolutionary. The iconic shower scene in Psycho used chocolate syrup for blood because it looked more realistic in black and white film. Director Alfred Hitchcock spent 7 full days shooting just that 45-second sequence. Back in 1932, the Australian military actually declared war on emus. Soldiers armed with machine guns tried to cull thousands of the birds that were destroying crops, but the emus largely won. Arctic moss tends to grow thicker on the north side of trees, a surprisingly reliable trick when your compass is broken. This small detail can be a lifesaver in dense forests or unfamiliar wilderness. Peru's Vinicunca, or Rainbow Mountain, gets its vibrant stripes from different mineral layers exposed by erosion over millions of years. Its striking reds, golds, and turquoises are all natural, making it look like a painter's palette on Earth. Every year, millions of red crabs on Christmas Island undertake a spectacular migration to the ocean to breed. This mass movement is so huge that roads are closed for weeks to protect the crustaceans. In some rural parts of China, fermented tofu, or stinky tofu, has historically been a vital survival food because it doesn't require refrigeration and offers high protein content. It's an acquired taste, but incredibly shelf-stable. Laojian Mountain in China, often called the Sleeping Dragon, features stunning ancient Taoist temples perched precariously on its peaks. Some intricate structures are over 1,500 years old, truly defying gravity and time up high. Here's a wild one. Wes Craven conceived Freddy Krueger after reading a Los Angeles Times article about Southeast Asian refugees dying in their sleep. One early case covered a family in Michigan, making the terrifying concept feel very close to home. The spooky skeletons in the original Poltergeist film weren't plastic props, but actual human remains sourced from a medical supply company. Actress JoBeth Williams felt completely violated when she later found this out. Cuba is home to Jardins de la Reina, or Gardens of the Queen, one of the largest and best preserved marine parks in the Caribbean. It's a pristine sanctuary for sharks, sea turtles, and massive coral reefs virtually untouched by human activity. The alien chestburster scene surprised most of the cast, only John Hurt knew the full extent of the gag. Their genuine reactions of shock and horror, especially Veronica Cartwright's scream, made the moment iconic. A car was actually modified to run entirely on coffee grounds for a British TV show back in 1991. The coffee car drove 200 miles, using coffee waste as its only fuel source. The longest traffic jam ever recorded didn't happen in a US megacity. It stretched over 60 miles on China's Beijing-Tibet Expressway in 2010, lasting for an incredible 12 days. The original car horn didn't even honk like modern ones do. Early automotive horns mimicked the sounds of geese or ducks to grab attention long before the classic ahuga sound. Havana actually has an underwater tunnel, the Túnel de la Bahía, connecting different parts of the city beneath the harbor. Opened in 1958, it was a massive engineering accomplishment for its era, predating many similar tunnels worldwide. Cats actually had a starring role in one of the internet's earliest memes, before memes were even a thing. In 1994, a website called The Kitten Cam became massively popular, broadcasting live footage of kittens. The mechanical shark in Jaws, lovingly nicknamed Bruce, was a constant headache, frequently breaking down and nearly sinking the production. This forced Steven Spielberg to show the shark less inadvertently, creating much more suspense. Some car alarms in Japan actually use a cat's meow as their warning sound. They're specifically designed to deter car thieves who might be superstitious about disturbing felines. The electric car starter was invented directly because of a fatal accident. Charles Kettering developed it after a friend died cranking a Cadillac engine, first appearing on a 1912 model. Medieval knights sometimes wore padded gambesons under their armor, which surprisingly offered better blunt force protection than chainmail alone. This layering was crucial for surviving weapon impacts. Michigan actually has its own mountains, like Mount Arvon, the state's highest point at 603 meters. It's part of the ancient Huron Mountains, some of the oldest rock formations on the continent, showing deep geological history. Lenticular clouds, shaped like stacks of pancakes or flying saucers, form when stable, moist air flows over a mountain range. These striking formations indicate powerful mountain waves in the atmosphere, often up to 1,000 meters high. Most early cars weren't actually black at all. Henry Ford famously stated in 1914, "You could have any color for your Model T as long as it is black, purely for manufacturing speed." Cuba has one of the world's highest literacy rates, reaching almost 100%, thanks to a massive national literacy campaign launched in 1961. Over 7,000 volunteers taught reading and writing across the country in just 1 year. The Saw franchise wasn't meant to become a massive series, originally planned as just a trilogy. The first film, made for only $1.2 million, exploded at the box office, grossing over $100 million and kickstarting a 10-film saga. There are singing sands mountains around the world, like the Kelso Dunes in California, where large quantities of sand produce a low hum. This rare phenomenon occurs when dry sand grains slide down slopes, creating a unique natural acoustic effect. The summit of Mount Denali in Alaska holds some of the coldest air on Earth, with recorded temperatures dropping to 73 degrees Celsius. This extreme cold, combined with high winds, creates some of the most challenging climbing conditions anywhere. Many airlines include a special crash axe in the cockpit designed not for violence, but to help pilots escape jammed doors or cut through obstructions after an emergency landing. It's a critical last resort tool. Dingoes aren't truly native to Australia. They arrived from Southeast Asia around 4,000 years ago. They are descended from domestic dogs, but have since become wild and play a key role in the ecosystem. The very first public website went live at CERN on August 6, 1991, describing the World Wide Web project. It basically detailed how to create pages and navigate the web, laying the groundwork for everything we use today. In medieval times, certain mountains were considered sacred, like Mount Athos in Greece, where women have been prohibited from entering for over 1,000 years. This ancient monastery community still maintains its unique male-only tradition today. Some early car designers actually looked to medieval armor for inspiration, especially when creating closed bodies. They incorporated those rounded, protective shapes to shield passengers from the elements. Australia's sheep population once outnumbered humans by a staggering 20-to-1. While that ratio has declined slightly, the wool industry remains a massive part of the nation's agricultural economy. If you enjoyed these, subscribe for daily facts and catch the shorts too.